Good morning. It is the first Friday of the school year, and we made it. Today, my plan is I was aggressively monitoring yesterday for my students in math. I saw a lot of gaps. I saw a lot of kids that have misconceptions. So I pulled their independent work from yesterday. Most of them didn't finish it. But I pulled that yesterday, so I'm gonna dig through that today. And before I see them, I'll know who isn't getting it and who is. And I'll have my roster. And so I'll make a mark next to the kids I know didn't get it yesterday. And I'll put a star next to the kids that did. And I'll make sure to really get after those kids that didn't get it today. One of the benefits of me only having one section of math and science is it makes it a lot easier for me to pinpoint data. I love data. I do. I really enjoy color coding my spreadsheets. I enjoy taking those numbers and making plans based on them. So now that I'm actually getting somewhere in math, and now that I'm actually getting work out of the kids that I can look at, I'm feeling a lot better about math. In terms of STEM, our plan going into 2 weeks from now, because I only see the kids every other week, typically next week would be a GT week, so I would be pulling our gifted and talented students during my STEM time, but gifted and talented won't be starting until week 3. So next week I'll be focused on getting all of our consumables organized here in the STEM lab, getting all of our recyclable donations from the summer picked up and brought here. I will be focusing on getting all of my GT kids data compiled, and I'll be able to devote a little bit more time to my math and science planning. Today for science, my plan is to get their vocab in their journal, get my pictures of the lab equipment hung up around the room so that they can continue to do that scavenger hunt going into next week. And then in addition, I need them to sign their safety contract and take their safety quiz. So that's all we have on the agenda for science today. And then I'll get us all caught up on properties of matter next week, because math is what needed our focus this week and getting those routines down. I'm looking forward to having some planning time with my team next week. And I think I'm gonna get a little bit in after school today. But that way we can kind of gauge where our kids are at, because I know that the rest of my team is further in science than I am. I feel pretty confident in my ability to get my kids caught up on that. There's a lot of experience I have in that area versus the math side, especially with this being a new math curriculum for us, but we're getting there. For my kids that aren't getting place value right now, that should be a review. So what I'm thinking is in the mornings, every single day, I have morning duty from 7:20 to 7:40 in the 5th grade hallway. So there's a good chunk of my kids that show up during that time frame. And so I'm thinking the ones that are struggling, maybe I can have some fluency games and some place value games that I can play with them in the hallway in the mornings. And hopefully that will close some more of those gaps. But right now, I am just going to keep pushing through on the way that these math lessons are formatted, because I think once we get into a rhythm with how they're timed, and once I get the pacing down, it'll be easier for me to aggressively monitor through each step, and I can start pulling kids for small group. Because right now, if I take my time on each step in these Bluebonnet learning lessons, I'm not gonna have time to pull a small group during my class time. And so I would rather push through this lesson, and my kids that are getting it are able to do math stations during that extra time, or do an extension program on their Chromebooks. And then my kids that aren't getting it, I want to have time to give them targeted instruction before we get into our science time, which if I stick to Bluebonnet Learning's timeline, the math lessons are an hour. I have an hour and a half for math. 30 minutes to do small groups would be amazing. And I think it would be far more beneficial to my kids. So plan going forward, especially right now when we don't have beginning of the year data to work off of from MAP, we're not doing so bad. I'm feeling pretty good about this year. I'm losing steam a little bit and we're only on week 1, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be fine. Did I have kids who didn't have their problems yesterday? Sure did. But it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be a great day. I'm manifesting it. I didn't stay late today. Today went great. I didn't get through as much of the science as I wanted, but I got through a good amount of math, and I was able to bring home some independent practice that the kids did. They didn't get much of it done, but it's enough for me to pull a little bit of data and make a better seating chart for them for next week. And next week's a GT week, so I have morning planning time since GT hasn't started yet. I wasn't about to stay late at work today because would you stay late at work if you had this at home? No. So I'm going to enjoy my weekend. And I am going to let the Olive Garden that I had for dinner settle in my tummy. And then I'll get right back to working it on Monday.